Well, thank you for the questions. First is regarding the vote of conscience and the whip system. Well, last time I think there was not much of a whip system in a way because BN simply had two-thirds majority. Every law was just passed. There was no need to call vote the MPs to come in and vote and all that. It was after 2008 when, say, in the parliament, the Pakatan MPs see that there's not enough BN MPs in the Dewan, then they will call for belah bagi, which means that you have to raise your hands and vote. Only then did you see some form of dynamics in the parliamentary system. So then you really tested the whipping system with that process. It's totally different from the UK because of the true two-party system, where there, I don't know whether people who are, the older generation who recognize Yes Minister and all that, who watch how the party whips, they would know all the secrets, all the secret affairs, the corruption of all the MPs, because that's how you get your MPs to be loyal to the party. But anyway, in the UK, you have what? Under the Westminster system, you still need a whipping system because for financial bills, for example, the annual budget, you need to get it through Parliament, because if it does not get through, then that means the government will collapse. So that means that whatever it is, under our current system, you still need a whipping system. But I do think that we should slowly move, perhaps, towards allowing in things other than financial bills. When you talk about, for example, things involving the environment, things involving, as you said, death penalty, things involving other laws, education, for example. Maybe we should ideally move towards where you have votes of conscience. But in practice, I think that it will take some time. I mean, I'm personally for it. The other challenge that I think makes it difficult, because unlike in the UK system where the MPs have a great power over voting their party leaders, in Malaysia, it's based on delegates or based on members. So there, the MPs can be a bit more, they can talk to their party leaders and say that I determine whether you get elected or not as a party leader. So the party leader has to really respect the MPs. But here, in Malaysia, the MP may be a ketua bahagian, maybe not a ketua bahagian. May be just an ordinary member, may not even be a delegate. So those are things which makes it a bit difficult in Malaysia for us to evolve towards that system. Secondly, on equality, whether Malaysians are truly equal, I think that in our constitution, it states clearly in Article 10 that Malaysians, that all citizens are equal. At the same time, we also have Article 153 about the special position of the Malays. And it's always this what you call that, this tension or perceived tension between the two. But I think what we forget in Malaysia is that what we see today is something which is when you have the racists, for example, in our political system today speaking, they are expanding it even beyond 153. So that's what that's a problem. For example, when people talk about Ketuanan Melayu, Malay supremacy, it does not exist in the constitution. The constitution only talk about special position of the Malays. So to me, I think that I personally do not have any problem with our current constitution that mentions the special position of the Malays, and at the same time talks about citizens being equal. If you totally understand the constitution, I don't think it's an issue. The problem is, of course, when people who do not understand the constitution then trying to misrepresent it. So in Malaysia today, I think yes, there's a lot of, because and also we have to understand the other complex part is the NEP, and the NEP again is not part of Article 153. Article 153 is part of the Constitution since Merdeka. The NEP came about later. So I think that we can get away with the NEP, dismantle the NEP, have more equality for the country, and at the same time maintain the constitutional provisions. So that's about equality. About single school. Well, I think the most important thing is that I think we acknowledge that there is an issue, as Edward said just now, regarding our current school systems, the fact that we are educated in different streams and all that. But at the same time, the world is also changing. We cannot have this one-size-fits-all mentality. A greater number of Malays are going to Chinese schools, so we cannot just say that, oh, this creates disunity and all that. But what is important, I think, is that students are allowed to mingle. That there has to be, I know it was very controversial, sekolah wawasan and all that, but I don't know, maybe getting people to come together, even though they study in different streams and all that, those are things that can be done. Because it's very, very controversial. It won't be easy to just dismantle the current system that you have today. But I think greater mixing, greater intermingling is very important to get Malaysians united.
As the Deputy Minister of Higher Education said, I don't have to answer all questions. I will attempt to and I hope to pass. I think we all love, we all dream that MPs and others can vote according to their conscience. So will it happen in Malaysia? Let's look at the world trend. I don't think it's happening. In USA, I think was doing quite well, but lately look at the universal medical bill, the whip came in and they vote according to party politics. So look at Australia, Australia, UK, India, they have to leave the party whip. They only have freedom to vote according to their conscience. And very rarely they leave their party whip. So maybe Malaysia should go towards what Australia, UK and India doing. Leave the party whip as often as possible. So maybe sometimes we always start from the opposition. So if what Dato Saifuddin said, BKL Pakatan should do in the state assembly where you all control, leave this party whip more often, then slowly and surely we'll go towards then you got no choice. Second question answer is on the single school system. This is very dear to my heart. As I said earlier, one of the reasons for the current political situation that we face in Malaysia is politician. Second one is the single school system. That's why I was very pro the mission school, Sekolah Wawasan, that was set up in Subang Jaya. So where there are 3 vernacular schools based there, and in fact, I'm the one who proposed that it should be named after the Sekolah Kebangsaan, named after Onjapa, the Tamil school named after Sambatan, and Chinese school named after Tun Tan Kewang, to create unity. So basically, we are allowed to work together, but at the same time, we have our distinct administration and promote our own language. But even that school have been criticized by both political divide. I know after it was started by Ling but his successor told me, hey, don't highlight too much about Vision School. You know why? Because the Chinese education group Tong Zhong is against it. They view it as a step by the BNA government towards closing of Chinese school. So they are very anti. In fact, I quarreled them over the papers when they start up. And there were 21,000 senior sign. Muslim of Somalia who voted, who was angry with me. So and then I put that time Jeffrey was not the MP of Penang yet. He's a Subang Jaya resident. I put in the board, but the board of this Chinese school, but he did not publicize so much because his party is against it. DAP also is not really pro. Same with both divides. So I think we have to look this one seriously into it. We have to respect or promote our own language because bahasa bahasa English means language is the soul of every religion. Without it, the soul of every race. Without it, the race will die. So how do we balance? I think very tough, but we have to go towards it. Otherwise, the present situation will continue with forever. Thank you.
I'm glad 2 issues that I brought up is being discussed now. So I will also answer 2 issues in one, which is with regards to the party whip as well as the school system. Actually, in itself, you will already realize that, I think Kian mentioned earlier that the party that I am a member of is not really for a single school system, but here I am speaking about it. So I think that speaks about whether there is a hope that there are people who would be brave enough to speak on what they believe in. And this is actually very much a personal opinion of mine, but I share with my party comrades in terms of my idea or what I think would help the unity of Malaysia. And this is my suggestion. which is to have a single school system where we learn the languages as languages, so that I can learn Jawi, for example, if I want to read the Quran, and all my Malay friends can learn Chinese, so that I cannot speak behind their back. By the way, my Chinese is really bad. My Chinese is really bad anyways, and if I have, and this is what I mean, if you see, if I have an interest, and Dr. mentioned here that if an interest group, so for example, if I have an interest in Malays and the Malay rights, I cannot join UMNO today. That's why I asked if can I join UMNO, because I have an interest in this area. In fact, I treat myself more Malaysian than Chinese. That's why I say it's a policy of Malaysians first. And on the issue of equality, yes, I think we're very equal. I have no issues with that. I have no issues with the Malay special rights. Just like I believe that the country was founded based on a secular state, so it should be. And if the Malay privileges are in the constitution, I'm okay with that. And I think we're very equal, because I know that the mosquito is not a racist. Because, for example, dengue fever, the mosquito doesn't choose my blood based on my race, because the mosquito doesn't know my blood and your blood is the same, and they will just bite you regardless. Corruption will affect you regardless of what race you are, what background you are from. And if there's a haze, the pollution is going to affect you, whether I'm the Prime Minister or I'm Edward sitting at home, the air that I breathe, the quality. So I think it's very, very equal as it is, and I think that's why I say I love Malaysia, and I want to contribute to the country, which is why I join politics, or inspire others people to join politics, because I believe that having more good people in politics will make it thrive more. And coming from a background of the alternative party, where you have more rebels, so I think it is very, very encouraging to see a lot of so-called rebels join the opposition, because even within the opposition parties there is different opinions, and because they're so used to being rebellious and not conform to what is put on them, so it becomes very healthy debates on what is good and better for the future. So with that, I just like to say this. So thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to have a couple of questions from the floor now directed at each person. Let me start with Nick first. I think Ryan has asked, PR has been promising a slew of reforms, especially freedom of speech, assembly, and abolishment of ISA. If PR becomes government, would the PR government grant equal media access to all, including the opposition? Also, would your government act indifferently in the event that groups like Perkasa act violently, or will you just arrest them? Will you give them the room to actually demonstrate and voice out their views? And I think also this, perhaps just to add on, there have been some instances whereby certain PR politicians have banned media access on the part of some pro-government or government-owned newspapers. Will that practice continue under a PR government at the federal level?